Depression can get to anyone. It got me when I was a teenager. Now, it is incredibly difficult to explain depression to someone who's never experienced it before. Being depressed doesn't necessarily mean you'd want to take your own life. More often than not, it means you wouldn't mind if you just disappeared, never to return. But after trying and failing to explain this multiple times, I discovered it really all boils down into one sentence. I didn't want to die. I just didn't want to live. Now, I would get mad at myself because I felt like I had no reason to be sad or tired or depressed. I had an amazing childhood. I had great friends. I had a long-term girlfriend. I had good grades in school. And by good grades, I mean I knew exactly how much I had to study to get a solid 60% on the test. When I was just shy of 16 years old, I decided to tell a couple of friends I felt depressed. I don't know what I expected. I thought just telling them would make me feel better. It did not. I noticed that people don't always know how to show their support to someone suffering from depression. They want to show their support, but how? Well, let's talk about it. There are multiple ways to show your support to someone suffering from depression, 4 of which I will go into. Now, the first method is what I call the good life method. Now, when I told my friends about my depression, a lot of them would react along the same lines. They would say, "But Jonathan, you have such a good life. You have so much to be happy for. Why are you not happy? Look at that guy. He has reasons to be unhappy, but he's not. So why are you?" Now, this didn't work out all that well, because even though they had the best intentions, it would always come across as, "Why are you being such a crybaby?" And this didn't help, especially because I was already mad at myself for feeling this way. Now, the second method is what I call the, "Oh, thanks, I'm cured now" method. This is where someone will come up to me and say, "You know, I was depressed once, and I just stopped thinking about it. And then I felt better." And that's what they would tell me to do. Now, these people almost always seem to forget that depression is an actual illness. So it would be like telling someone with the flu, "Have you tried, not having the flu?" Now, the third method is what I call the hear when you need to talk method. These are usually close friends who will want to know how you're doing nearly every waking minute of every day. And for a lot of people, this will help. A lot of people really do just need that constant outlet to vent to. Now, I don't like to talk about my emotions a lot. I listen to and make music as an outlet for these emotions, so I rarely feel the need to talk to other people. And this is where the fourth and last method comes in. I call this the just sit here with me method. Now, let me tell you about one of the most memorable moments of my life. I came home from school at about 1 in the afternoon because I rarely ever went to school for the full day. Sat about the house for 30 minutes, and a friend of mine rang me up. He said, "Jonathan, we're at the park, we got music, we got snacks, we got a case of beer. Come hang out." With little hesitation, I decided to join them. And so we went to the park. And all we did was sit there, listen to music, and drink a couple of beers. Cheers. The conversation was pretty much non-existent for the greater part of the afternoon. And when there was an ongoing conversation, it was probably just incredibly shallow or incredibly funny. And that's the part that worked for me. Being surrounded by friends who didn't treat me any differently because of how I felt. They all knew about it. And they all thought it would be best not to talk about it. Because if I wanted to talk about it, I probably would have said something. In these cases, I was able to focus on the bad jokes my friends were telling me. And it was the first time that entire school year that I truly felt happy for a moment. Now, I don't do well on my own, but I thrive when I'm with friends. I've learned that if I have the option to go and see friends, I should always take it. It took a lot of time to start asking friends to hang out. It even took a lot of time to start accepting these invitations. But to me, that one day in the park was a turning point. I now knew my ability to feel happiness didn't disappear. But a lot of the times I need friends around me to trigger the emotion. And it's not about feeling truly happy all the time when you're with friends. It's more about being occupied. In these cases, my mind was able to focus on the stories my friends were telling me and intense calculations about how cold the coldest beer in the fridge should be by now. Now, I came across all of these methods when I was depressed. The just sit here with me method is the one that worked for me. I'm really glad I found that out. But there's one thing that worries me. And that's that the first two methods, the good life and the, oh thanks, I'm cured now method, are far more common than the last two. And this worries me because these methods did more harm than good. Because in the end, it wasn't the people who kept saying you'll be fine that helped me from my depression. It was the people who just showed up, sat next to me, and had a beer with me while watching sports. So if you know someone like me, or someone else suffering from mental issues, go knock on their door. Bring a six-pack, bring a slice of pizza, and either be the ear they need to vent to, or the person that will just sit there with them. Because sometimes your words may do more harm than good, but just your presence might go a long way.